All right, let's dive in. Welcome to another deep dive. You know how this works. We take a stack of sources and pull out all the good stuff.
The good bits. Yeah.
So today we're looking at Afro Samurai Resurrection. This is that animated movie sequel to the series.
Yep.
And we got a whole stack of IMDb reviews. And let me tell you,
Oh, yeah.
opinions are all over the place with this one. So should be fun.
Always interesting to see what people latch on to.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, what really stood out to them,
Yeah.
both positive and negative.
Yeah, one thing that really jumped out to me going through these was that even if they didn't love the movie,
Right.
people were really digging the visual style.
Yeah, that's true. Even some of the more critical reviews were still
Yeah, got to give it up for the visuals.
yeah, wicked stylish was the phrase that one reviewer, Onderhand, used.
Oh, yeah. Underhand makes sense, though. I mean, you look at, the Takashi Koike influence in the movie. And
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it's right up his alley.
You can definitely see that DNA in there.
Uh-huh.
A Lot's 2002, another reviewer actually said it was like watching Japanese paintings.
Oh, wow.
Just super crisp.
Yeah.
Very clear and vibrant colors.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah,
Visually stunning.
we're talking top notch.
Yeah, like art.
Really gorgeous animation.
Yeah. No, it is interesting, though, because then you get a review from Duran Alcoholics.
Okay.
And they say that, yeah, the animation is amazing, but the story is just awful.
So it's like we've got this beautiful cake, but it just doesn't taste good.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like a bummer.
Big bummer.
But, okay, well, let's talk about...
Well, hold on now.
Yeah.
Before we write off the whole meal,
Okay.
let's talk about the soundtrack, because that's another thing that got people talking.
Okay, yeah. The music.
So this is where the RZA steps in,
Mm.
right? The mastermind behind the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, yeah. Big name.
Huge,
Yeah.
right? So, for some people, that was a huge draw. For others, maybe not so much. We had White Ninjaz 88 who loved it, called it one of the movie's strengths.
Oh.
And then you have D. Reed, who was really excited about the mix of legendary hip-hop artists on the soundtrack and how it fit perfectly with the action.
So, how can you go wrong with that? Samurai Showdown with, a Wu-Tang beat behind it.
Yeah, it's epic, right?
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
But then again, you have Onderhog,
Right.
who, in keeping with their feelings about the story,
Okay.
also wasn't thrilled with the music.
Oh, really?
Called it a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Said it didn't really vibe with the visuals.
Interesting, huh? So,
Yeah, it's like some people love the pairing, Felt like it really heightened the action and the whole vibe.
Right.
Others felt it was a little off.
Yeah, like wearing sneakers with a tuxedo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, to throw another wrench in there,
Oh, yeah?
we have Bob the Moo,
Okay.
who jumped in to say that Onderhand was wrong and that the soundtrack was perfect.
Oh, wow. Strong opinions.
Yeah, strong opinions all around.
Makes you wonder what it is about the music that really was...
dividing people.
Yeah, dividing people.
What I think is interesting about the music
Right.
is that it really kind of gets to the heart of what it means to make a sequel,
Yeah.
especially in a visually driven genre like anime.
Okay.
How do you stay true to the spirit of the original
Yeah.
without just being a copycat?
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Afro Samurai had this specific blend of
Yeah.
hip-hop and samurai action.
The grit.
Yeah. And the grittiness.
So how do you make a soundtrack that
Yeah.
captures that essence?
Yeah, how do you live up to that legacy?
Right, and does the RZA sound, which is more modern,
Yeah.
maybe mainstream,
Yeah.
does that really fit that mold?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a tough balance to strike.
Yeah.
And, based on what we're seeing in these reviews,
Right.
it sounds like Resurrection might not have quite hit that sweet spot for everyone.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So we've got the animation, we've got the music. But what
Yeah.
about the story?
Yeah.
What about the characters?
The heart of it all.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes.
Or maybe the Achilles heel. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so Onderhand, again, sticking with his critical lens,
Okay.
summed up the plot basically as Afro's trying to get the #1 headband back.
Right. So just for context, for anyone who's not familiar with the Afro Samurai world,
Yeah.
that headband, I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right?
That's it. Yeah, that represents the peak of power, for a warrior.
Yeah. So it's got all this built-in ambition, this idea of legacy tied
Right.
to it.
Oh, absolutely.
But Onderhand's take was that the background story behind it all wasn't very interesting.
Oh, so it's like having this incredible treasure chest,
Right.
but when you open it, it's filled with socks.
Yeah. A letdown.
A total bummer.
Total bummer. But, and then you got another reviewer, White and Jazz 88, who's saying,
Okay.
what the plot might be a bit basic, but the action totally makes up for it.
So as long as there are awesome action moments,
Yeah, you're good.
you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so for some viewers, straightforward, action-packed, that's all they need.
Yeah, they're happy.
They're happy.
Yeah, but like with the music,
Right.
not everybody was feeling that.
No, not everybody was feeling that. Bob the Moo, who, remember, loved the music,
Yeah.
had some issues with the
Yeah.
story.
Really?
Yeah, they felt like it was cluttered and
Oh.
confusing, particularly because they brought in stuff like zombies and cyborgs.
Zombies and cyborgs.
Yes.
In a samurai story.
I know, right? Much.
Yeah, it's like maybe they were just trying to throw everything in there.
Yeah, maybe a little overstuffed.
Yeah, and just see what sticks.
See what sticks, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Ninja Lick,
Right, Afro's sidekick.
the sidekick. Now, this guy sparked some seriously strong opinions.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Underhand, continuing the trend,
Yeah.
found him annoying
Okay.
and just, bad for the film.
Oh, wow. Detrimental.
Detrimental, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Alot's 2002, who actually appreciated him.
Interesting.
Saw him as a good balance to
Mhm.
Afro's more silent, brooding nature.
Yeah.
Talk about different strokes for different folks,
For
right?
sure. For sure. It's like, what do you want in a sidekick? You know what I mean?
Right. Do you want them to be comic relief, voice of reason, pain in the neck?
Right. And then what does that say about the dynamic?
Exactly, yeah.
So we got a simple plot, but maybe not a very good plot.
Right.
We got a sidekick who people either love or hate.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got mixed opinions on whether the action even makes up for all of that.
Yeah, lots to unpack here.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Well, I think what's crucial now is to consider how Resurrection stacks up against the original Afro Samurai series.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because comparisons are just inevitable.
Right. Especially with the sequel.
Right, especially with the sequel, and
Yeah.
especially one that's trying to capture some of the magic of the original.
Right. It's like, if you love that first album, they're going to have high expectations for the second.
Absolutely. You're going to be listening with a critical ear.
Exactly. So let's see what our reviewers thought about Resurrection in relation to the series. White and Jazz 88 and Lots 2002 actually thought that the movie was better.
Interesting.
They thought the action and just the entertainment value surpassed the series.
Huh. Okay, so they're really about that visual spectacle.
Yeah, and those crazy fight scenes.
So for them, the style really was the substance.
Yeah, they were sold.
Yeah, they were all in.
But then we have Lane 666 and Moo McKenney.
Okay.
They felt like it didn't really reach that same level.
Maybe they were missing the depth of the original.
Yeah, maybe, the series unfolds over multiple episodes.
Right. More space for character development and world building.
Exactly. So maybe they felt like something was lost in translation.
Yeah, it's possible. And then there's Bob the Moo's take, which I thought was particularly interesting.
Okay.
They said that while Resurrection was clearly aiming for that same kind of style, the hip-hop, the violence, the cool animation,
Right.
they argued that it didn't do it as effectively as the series.
So, it's not just about whether the movie's good or bad on its own.
Right.
It's about how it measures up against what came before it.
Exactly. And that's a really important point, right? It's like trying to recreate a signature dish.
Right, yeah.
You can have all the right ingredients.
Right.
But if the proportions are off, the taste is just not going to be the same.
You're not going to get that same flavor.
Exactly. And then, we also have those one-liner reviews.
Oh, yeah? What were some of those?
Well, Cheryl just went with Afro Samurai. Regurgitation. And Tallwood 13, believe it or not, same exact phrase, Afro Samurai. Regurgitation.
Ouch. They did not hold back.
No, they did not.
Hmm.
It sounds like for a lot of the audience, Resurrection might have been a case of been there, done that.
Yeah.
Lacking that freshness and that impact of the original.
So it makes you wonder, who is this movie for?
Yeah.
Is it for everyone?
Is it just for a certain audience?
Like, maybe people who loved the original will be disappointed, but people coming in fresh might enjoy it more.
It's possible.
Okay, well, let's talk about that.
All right, yeah, let's dig into that.
So Onderhan thought that the movie's core appeal, like the samurai, the gore, the technology, all the weirdness,
Yeah.
was pretty simple and probably wouldn't attract a wide audience.
So kind of a guilty pleasure then?
Yeah, you enjoy it for those specific things, even if it's not a masterpiece.
Totally valid.
Totally. But then, 2002, they're arguing against that.
Okay.
They're pointing to the movie's popularity, and they're like, well, it actually got renewed for a second season.
Right, so clearly it connected with more people than some expected.
Right, so how do we explain that?
I think it all comes down to understanding that sequels are tricky.
Yeah.
They're inherently difficult.
Yeah.
You're trying to capture what made the original so beloved while also offering something new.
Yeah.
It's like walking a tightrope.
It's a tough balance.
It is.
Yeah. And sometimes even with the best intentions. A
Right.
sequel might just not live up to the hype.
Yeah, and that might be true for some viewers, but not others.
Right.
It might appeal to a different segment of the audience.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's what makes looking at these reviews so fascinating,
Hmm.
because it really drives home that there's no one right way
Yeah.
to experience a film.
Yeah.
What might be a letdown for one person could be a total blast for someone else.
It all comes down to taste.
Exactly.
What you value in a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we're going to dig into all of that a lot more in part 2 of our deep dive.
Yeah, we're going to unpack those contrasting opinions.
Okay.
Talk more about the RZA's soundtrack.
Okay.
And really tackle the question of whether Afro Samurai Resurrection actually lives up to its predecessor.
Good stuff. So stay tuned, folks. We got more to come.
More samurai action, musical analysis, and critical dissection coming your way.
You don't want to miss it. Welcome back to our deep dive into Afro Samurai Resurrection. Last time we were talking about whether it lives up to the original.
Yeah, big question.
Big question. We've got those user reviews to break it down, but first I wanted to go back to the RZA's soundtrack.
Okay.
It's a love it or hate it thing.
Definitely seems that way.
So, like, how do you think the music impacts the viewing experience, especially for a sequel?
Oh, that's such a good question. Because music, can make or break a movie.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with a sequel, trying to recapture that magic.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's got to set the tone.
It's like finding that perfect playlist for a party.
Exactly.
Like, you want something that gets people moving, but also fits the theme. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Totally. And in this case, the theme is that blend of samurai action and hip-hop.
Right.
That was so iconic in the original Afro Samurai.
Yeah.
And some reviewers felt like the RZA nailed it. Maybe. Reed actually said the music was perfectly aligned with the action.
Oh, wow.
Praised the mix of all those legendary hip-hop artists.
Yeah. I mean, how can you go wrong with that?
Right. It's epic.
It is.
It's like every fight scene becomes this huge event.
Yeah, you're just amped up.
Totally amped. But then, Underhand, our friend,
Right.
had a different take.
Yeah, what did they think?
They felt like the music clashed with the visuals.
Really?
Yeah, called it a missed opportunity.
Interesting. Why do you think that is? Is it just a matter of taste?
It could be. I
Mhm.
think Underhand's critique maybe points to something about the RZA style,
Okay.
which, leans more modern,
Yeah.
more mainstream maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that doesn't quite gel with the grittier animation style.
So it's about finding that harmony.
Right, that harmony between the sound and the visuals.
Yeah.
Or is it? Maybe there's room for some dissonance.
Yeah, thing.
I don't know, maybe that clash actually adds something for some viewers.
Huh. Like what?
Well, it could make the movie more than just a visual spectacle, right? It could be a way
Yeah.
to challenge expectations,
Yeah.
creating the unique auditory experience.
Yeah, so it's adding another dimension to the whole thing.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a really cool way to look at it.
It's like instead of just complementing the visuals,
Mm-hmm.
the music is like adding another layer,
Yeah.
another way to interpret what's happening on screen.
Right, and it goes back to that idea that art is subjective.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. What one person finds jarring, another might find brilliant.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got these awesome visuals, maybe a not-so-awesome soundtrack.
For some?
For some, yeah, and a plot that some people found lacking.
Right. Definitely some mixed feelings there.
And then we have Ninja,
Oh, yeah, the sidekick.
who seems to be another one of those love him or hate him characters.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
Like sidekicks, they're often there for comic relief
Yeah.
or to play off the main character's personality.
Mm.
And in the case of Ninja, we definitely see that dynamic at play.
Right.
Underhand, who has been pretty critical,
Right.
found him annoying
Yeah.
and just bad for the film.
Wow.
Like actually detrimental,
So they just wanted him gone.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But then you have Lotzi's 2002, who liked having that counterbalance to Afro.
Oh.
Was very silent, very brooding.
Yeah.
So for them, it was all about that dynamic, that back and forth.
So it depends what you want out of your sidekick.
Exactly. And, maybe the filmmakers are playing with that trope a little bit.
How so?
Well, maybe Ninja isn't just there for laughs.
Okay.
Maybe his dialogue, which some people find annoying,
Yeah.
is actually meant to create a sense of unease
Oh.
or add to that weirdness of the film.
Interesting. So it's more intentional than just like, oh, let's throw in some jokes.
Right. Maybe it's about contributing to the overall tone and atmosphere.
So ninja is like this source of both humor and discomfort.
Yeah, which can be a powerful combination.
Yeah.
And it definitely adds another layer to how we interpret the character.
That's a good point. Okay, so back to the original series.
Okay, yeah.
How does Resurrection actually stack up?
That is the big question, isn't it?
It is. It is. We've got those viewers who think the movie's better.
Right.
More action, more entertainment value.
Yeah, they were loving those visuals.
Yeah, totally. The fight scenes.
So for them, style won out.
Yeah, they were sold on the spectacle.
And that says something about how animation has evolved, too.
Yeah.
Resurrection being a later production.
Yeah.
It's got the advantage of newer technology, better visual storytelling.
That makes sense, yeah.
So if you're all about that action, that visual flair,
Right.
you might naturally prefer the sequel.
Okay, but then we've got the viewers who say it falls short.
Right. They're missing something.
Yeah, like Lane 666 and Moo Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
They felt like it just didn't reach the same level.
It's possible they were missing the depth of the original series.
Yeah.
The way it unfolded over multiple episodes,
Right.
More time for those characters to develop, more world building.
So the movie just felt rushed, like they couldn't fit it all in.
Yeah, maybe. It's like trying to condense a whole novel into a short story.
Right.
You're going to lose some of the nuance, some of the complexity.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. And then there's Bob the Moo's take.
Oh, yeah, what'd they say?
They said that Resurrection was going for that same style.
Okay.
You know, the hip-hop, the violence, the cool animation. But it didn't do it as well.
So, like, it's not just about having the right elements.
Yeah.
It's about how you execute them.
Right.
Like trying to recreate a masterpiece painting.
Okay. I like that analogy.
You can use the same colors, the same techniques,
Yeah.
but capturing that original artist's vision.
Right. That unique touch.
Exactly. It's almost impossible.
So Resurrection had the ingredients.
It did.
But maybe not that special something.
Right. That certain je ne sais quoi.
Which makes you wonder, can a sequel ever really capture that magic?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's the dilemma every sequel faces.
Yeah.
How do you honor the original while also doing your own thing?
Yeah, yeah.
And how do you please those diehard fans
right.
who are nostalgic for the original but also bring in new viewers?
It's tough.
It is. It's a real balancing act.
Okay, well, let's shift gears a bit.
All right.
And talk about style versus substance.
Okay. Yeah.
It's something that keeps coming up in these reviews.
Definitely a recurring theme.
So was Resurrection too focused on style?
Too focused on the visuals.
Yeah, at the expense of the story.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. It is. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I think, like with most things in art,
Mm-hmm.
it's subjective.
So it depends on the viewer.
Exactly. Some people might be totally happy with a visually stunning, action-packed experience, even if the plot's pretty basic.
They're just there for the ride.
Yeah, they love the animation, the fight scenes, how the music gets your adrenaline pumping.
Right.
For them, style is the substance.
It's like going to a rock concert, you know?
Right. You're not there for a deep lyrical analysis.
Exactly. You just want to feel the energy.
Say that.
But then you have other viewers who want more.
Yeah, they're looking for a story that really grabs them.
Yeah.
Characters they can connect with, themes that make them think.
Right. They want substance.
They want depth, yeah.
Yeah. It's like reading a novel.
Totally. You get lost in that world, you invest in the characters,
Yeah.
and it stays with you after you're done.
Yeah. So it's this debate then.
Yeah.
Style versus substance.
Right.
Can a film have both?
Or do we have to choose?
Yeah. Is it one or the other?
I think the best films, the ones that really stick with you,
Yeah.
they manage to find that balance.
Right. They give you both.
The visual feast and the food for thought.
It's like the perfect pairing of food and wine.
Exactly. It's got to look good
Yeah.
and taste good.
But it also has to be satisfying, you know?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Afro Samurai, Resurrection. Maybe it didn't hit that balance for everyone,
Maybe not.
but it definitely got people thinking about it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It sparked a conversation.
Which, in a way, means it was successful, right?
Yeah. It got people talking, got them engaged,
Even if they didn't love it.
even if they didn't love it. Yeah.
Okay, so one last thing before we wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
The target audience.
Yes. Who is this movie actually for?
Is it for the fans of the original? Or can someone who's never seen it jump in and enjoy it?
That's a question we're going to tackle in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll dig into those reviews.
All right.
Weigh the pros and cons.
Okay.
See if we can answer that question.
Is Afro Samurai Resurrection worth watching?
Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Afro Samurai,
Ah.
Resurrection. We've talked about the animation, the music, the characters. Now we got to figure out,
Ooh, this movie's actually 4.
right, like, is it for those hardcore fans of the series?
The OGs.
Yeah. Or can someone who's never even heard of Afro Samurai
Right.
just jump in and enjoy it?
All right, well, let's see what the reviewers thought.
Remember Onderhand?
Yeah.
They thought the whole, like, samurai, gore, technology, weirdness thing was pretty niche.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Wouldn't appeal to everyone.
It's not exactly mainstream, is it?
No, not really. But then a lot of 2002 argued that the movie's popularity, the fact that it got a second season,
Right.
means it must have a wider appeal.
Okay, so how do we make sense of that?
I think it's about understanding how people approach sequels,
Oh, okay.
especially those diehard fans.
Right.
They might go in with these really specific expectations.
Yeah, they want more of what they loved.
Exactly. More of the story.
Deeper dives into the characters.
Yeah, maybe just that same vibe, you know?
And if it's not there,
Disappointment.
yeah, big time.
It's like trying to recapture that feeling of your first love.
Oh, wow.
Magical, unique, impossible to recreate.
Yeah, I feel that.
But for someone coming in fresh,
Okay.
no nostalgia, no baggage,
Right.
Resurrection might be a totally different experience.
Or just seeing it for what it is.
Yeah, a crazy samurai adventure with awesome visuals.
Okay, so almost like 2 different movies then.
Almost, yeah. One for the fans, one for everyone else.
And how you feel about it depends on your perspective.
Exactly. It's all about how our experiences shape our interpretation.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Afro Samurai, Resurrection.
Yeah.
Definitely not a movie for everyone.
It's bold, it's stylish.
It's weird.
It owns its weirdness.
Yeah, and you got to respect that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be everyone's cup of steak.
But for those who dig it.
It could be a cult classic.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Uh.
let's leave our listeners with a question.
All right, hit him with it.
You're scrolling through your streaming service, you see Afro Samurai, Resurrection. You know what we know now? The good, the bad, the mixed reviews.
Right.
Do you hit play?
What's it going to be?
Are you drawn in by the visuals?
The action,
Or are you hesitant because of the plot?
those divisive characters.
At the end of the day, it's your call.
Your choice.
But hopefully this deep dive has given you a better sense of what to expect.
The strengths, the weaknesses,
The whole package.
and maybe, just maybe,
Yeah,
it sparked a little curiosity in you.
to check it out.
See for yourself.
Because ultimately,
Yeah.
the best way to know if a movie's for you is to watch it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So go forth, deep divers.
Explore.
Explore the world of Afro Samurai, Resurrection, and let us know what you think.
We love a good discussion.
Until next time, happy viewing.